Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hank Russell invitation and happy Olympic season. You know, today is on a Sunday, and we are 2 days into the Olympics. What a great time! All the greatest athletes around the world. Love to document stuff like that just because of this time period and everything like that. My guest today, I met him about 8, 9 months ago up in Boston, and he was so gracious to help me out. Like there was a video that was put out. He was so gracious enough to put that out for me and send me a copy. And him and I have developed a online friendship since then, and we will probably see each other within the next few months anyway. He's got interesting things going on with AI, things that are a little bit above my head. I'm not going to lie to you, and that's why I bring people like this on so that I can educate myself as well as him being able to educate others. Today, his name is Johnny Eliassaint, but you know him as Johnny E with 3 E's on it. Hello, Johnny.
What's going on, Hank? Thank you for having me.
No, my friend. How is so I didn't know that you lived in Orlando, Florida. That was the cool part. I haven't been to Orlando in years, and I love it. And I was just thinking, man, like I think that's why you're so cheerful, is because it's always warm weather up there.
You're right, man. Right now it's hot. It's hot and it's raining.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. It's hot here, but we don't have Mickey Mouse down the street. So,
well, that's a plus. Having Mickey Mouse as your friends is always a plus, right?
Exactly. So, what was it gonna? I'll tell you this, man. What was it? 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when we planned this, I was looking at your post and I said, man, I don't understand what he's talking about as far as this, AI and everything like that. I don't know what it is that 100% what your goal is to do. And I'm going to, and I'd really like to dive deep into that, right off the bat. We could always spur off into talking about other things, but this really is interesting. But before we do that, let's get our boy. I'm gonna show a little comment right here. Thank you, Mr. Camera Junkie. I know you're
the camera junkie in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's our friend, man. He's a good dude, man. I'm telling you. I'm gonna have him on the show one day, hopefully. He's one of the ones I want to have on is eventually, and mainly talk about him, and because I got to. He brought his son up there during the creator camp we went to, and what an honor it was to see him bring his son up there. So this should be fun. But so Johnny, all right, in a nutshell, for the beginning, what is it that this new project that you're trying to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not a new project. Let me tell you about this. Mm-hmm. So I spent 20 years in the military, right? Okay. So, but as you can see, I have a thick accent, so I'm from somewhere else. So I was born and raised in Haiti. And then when I came here and I joined the military, and after 20 years in the military, so I came back and embedded myself back in my community, trying to get involved, trying to see, what the people are missing, because the military, when I some content, at first I just wanted to interview people. Then we start seeing this evolution, right, in the computer world and the video world and creating contents in business. And I felt like, oh my God, I feel like my community is getting left behind. In a sense, if you're looking at all those development about AI, right, when we take artificial intelligence, let's take it in a sense like creating content. So you can find a good AI where you can just give it a prompt and it creates something for you. But those prompts have to be in certain languages. For example, the main languages have to be English, Spanish, French, Chinese, and I think they have some Russian as well. Mm-hmm. But if you're someone who's from somewhere else, or another country where your language is not a popular language or your language is not mainstream, so you kind of left behind. So when I start knocking on those doors, like those people who's developing those type of AI, and I'm like, hey, your software is a great software, but do you provide a Creole aspect to it? The answer is like, oh no, it's not. But I think if you train the AI will give you the solution you're looking for, not technically. Okay, not technically. So basically, the answers was that way. If you try the AI, like let's say you're creating a video and the video is in Creole, and you ask the AI to create some stuff for you, some
Yes.
subjects, some templates, it's not gonna happen because it doesn't understand you. So when I dig deeper, I find out that some people telling me like, hey, maybe they don't have a Creole API. So I'm not a computer technologist guy. I'm like, okay, what do you mean they don't have an API? My understanding is if you go to Google Translate, and Google Translate do a pretty good job of translating like English to Creole or any other language to Creole. So it works. It's not perfect, but it works. So that means there is some type of API out there. So my thing is, I think it will help businesses and also that community. Like if you're somebody who's in that space, you're leaving out at least 12 million people who could have used your technology, but it's not using it because it doesn't have anything in it for them. So if that's only for where I come from, the language millions, right, who could have used your technology, but unfortunately they're not using it. So that's why I keep knocking on those software, those people, those technologies who's using AI and say, hey, have you think about this? Did you see that aspect? But so far, no luck, brother, no luck. But I'm keeping knocking.
Oh wow. Okay. So I didn't know that this was a problem. That AI technology, was leaving people behind as far as language barriers is concerned. Is that what it kind of means in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, yes, it is because they only develop those technologies only to work for the main languages. Again, English, French, Spanish, Chinese, and Russian.
Right. And you have the skills to be able to add Haitian to it.
No, I don't have the skills to add Haitian to it. What I do have, I do speak Creole and I understand the culture and I understand how the language function because that's one of the languages you cannot just translate word for word. So
Okay.
this is the reason why I'm like, okay, maybe the difficulty is maybe they're having difficulty translate it word for word, but when in reality it's not one of the language you can just translate one for word. Okay, so I'm knocking on those door and asking them, hey, do are you planning to put this technology? Are you planning to use Creole as a template as well? I'm gonna give you an example. I used to use this script, right? And this script is a good tools to have. Like if you have a video, you drop it in there, and then I
Hmm.
realized, oh, this script does it in French as well, and I think they have it in Spanish. I did not check. Then I said, okay, let me take one of my Creole videos because I create a lot of content for the Haitian community. I said, let me take one of my Creole videos and drop it in there and see what it gives me. Nightmare. Does not exist, does not work. So now imagine you have a video, right? And you take it, it's in English, you drop it, you create all kind of stuff, you can make all kind of edits, you can do everything you can do, and you're done about 10, 15 minutes. But if you speak Creole, you cannot do that, even though you want that technology.
Yes.
So it's not available. So basically, in a nutshell, that company is leaving about 12 million people out. 12 million people who could have used their software was not using it. So I'm just basically, I say, hey, do you guys see that aspect? And if you do, you should do something about it because it not only will help your company, but it also will help this community who's about 12 million strong.
I was about, and I was thinking that's such a great community service in its own way, too. You don't have, I guarantee you, like, I mentioned the Olympics last night, or the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics started this weekend, and, those boats that were rowing by. And
Mm-hmm.
how many countries was that? I mean, there's like what 193
Uh,
countries on this planet. There probably had to be at
yeah,
least
a
what
lot.
185 on the boat. And how many different languages are being left behind based upon new technology, and
Mm-hmm.
based upon the fact that the future is coming, and in many ways it's here already.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see, and that is a big issue that a lot of older people suffer with, and a lot of people in countries that are not quite as popularized based upon language barriers.
Mhm. Mhm. And it's funny you said that. Yes, a lot of older people suffer from that. Now, imagine somebody who's in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, even,
Mm-hmm.
not only was suffering from the technology advances, now they're suffering because this brand new technology, may we like it or not, artificial intelligence is a brand new technology.
Yeah.
Now, this added on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's very difficult. Like, I was dealing with a gentleman who's 62 who lost his job, right? So he had to create a brand new resume, all kind of stuff to look for the job. Now, mind you, he speak English, but not at that level that it needs to be.
Mm.
So he was talking to somebody. They always have those gurus who's offering, oh, you can use this, you can use that to create your resume and stuff like that. So he's a very intelligent guy. He said, okay, well, sure, I have a resume. I can use that and maybe create it in Creole, like the guy is saying, and then he will transfer it for me in English and do all of those things. Did not happen. Okay, it can't happen. The technology is not there for him yet.
Yeah, I mean, like you just kind of subconsciously said too. The technology could leave people behind that are still in the years where they need to work a little bit longer in the field that they primarily was trained in.
Hmm.
I mean, I know guys who are in construction, and this is probably 20, 30 years ago. They had they use grid pads to be able to sign in and sign off and being able to do things. And a lot of guys quit probably a little bit before they were ready to retire because the technology was overwhelming for that day. Now, I don't, I mean, AI could be the same thing. It
Hmm.
could people could quit because of this if they don't get at least a little bit educated from it on the forefront.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because what's happening is, I mean, I know I'm not afraid of AI. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's gonna help a lot of people. And I think the best thing for people to do is to learn how to use it. So because it's here, is learn how to use it and make it work in your advantage. But at the same time, what I'm doing is technically telling those software engineers, those companies, those developing those AI, which is good. And I don't think they see it because they just focus on the main languages for now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget about the other countries who doesn't have popular languages. At least it's time now to start thinking about them and say, okay, so if this tool is so advanced, so I should have a basic API in there, and then it should help with that. So that's just what I'm asking for. So I'm continue to do it and continue to create content about it, continue to help my community, help them understand how the technology, how you use the technology and how we can change other people's lives. But the difficulty is showing people in the language how a technology is being utilized, and then when you get to that portion for them to see how it works, and you can't. Now I'm doing a demonstration for them, but all of the result I'm getting, it's only in English. So they're like, okay, well, it's pretty good, but it's not for us.
Right. I mean, did you accidentally stumble upon this? Like you were, where you did
Yeah.
you just? It's like, wait a second, we're being left behind. I haven't been to this. I haven't lived in this country for over 20 years, but this needs to
Yeah.
be done for my people. I got it. I'm going to do something about it. Is that kind of how it was?
No, actually, I was doing a class about the importance of voting, right? I'm telling them, hey, this is the reason why you need to vote if you've been here for so long. But all the class was in Creole, and I was looking at something saying that you can have your video and you can grab your video and drop it over here, and he will cut it for you, will edit it for you, give you a little template. He will even have closed caption for you. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I grabbed the video and I put it in there, and it did not work out well. Okay, because the video was in Creole. So that's when I realized, I said, okay, well, maybe it's this software. So I try another one, same thing. And I try another one, same thing. And I try another one, same thing. And I realized, I said, oh my God. So there is an issue. There's an issue nobody's talking about. There's an issue I think those businesses, those organizations, those creators, those people who's creating those software is not even seeing. And this is, again, that's just for a small group of people. Now imagine other countries who's having the same problem, where they
Absolutely.
probably have a dialect or maybe a language was not mainstream.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I believe somebody had something for translation for Latin, which is a dead language. And I was like, why would they do
Mm,
that? And they said it was for college credibility. And I was
mm.
thinking, you're going in the wrong direction when you're, talking about Latin or Sanskrit that are both, languages that have been dead for thousands of years.
Yes, but not really, because if you think about it, there's some aspect that the Latin will help a lot because they like the root cause of every word, right? Well, no matter what language you're from. So
Okay.
if you understand it, and I think it will help translate those other languages better because Latin is like it's the root from every language, whether
Yeah.
you like it or not. They use a lot of words that is used maybe in French and English and Spanish.
Right.
It derived from Latin, but I can understand that. But if they can say that far back, I think we need to say, okay, what about the current languages as well?
Yes, the current 12 million people, as you say, that are being excluded from,
Yep,
technology that, fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, is here and that will
exactly.
take place.
Now I know. Yeah, I know a lot of friends who's creators, they Creole creators, they create videos in Creole, and they do interviews. I know news media, Haitian news media, who does the same thing.
Oh,
They
wow.
still using the old way to they still use the old way to edit the video. So this guy sit down and do an interview, probably half hour, 1 hour. So he had to sit down and the old way edit the video, step by step to find the area that he needs and stuff like that. I can interview the same. Like I said, I can have that interview with you. It was 1 hour, but because it's in English, I can drop it on one of those AI, and it will give me multiple cuts, right? And it will
Right.
give me closed caption with it. But he cannot. You see, why not?
Yeah. No. And
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, no, it makes complete sense. I mean, I would personally not want to see anybody be left behind. And because of simply where we were born geographically on this planet. And let's face it, I mean, most of the time in smaller countries and smaller communities, they're considered the lowest common denominator. And that's not an insult. That's just kind of how,
Mhm.
and depending on, I'm assuming that there's probably not a lot of wealth amongst the 12 million people, is there?
No, of course it's not. It's not one of the richest country. I mean, rich in culture, but when we're talking about financially, it's not.
Right.
It's not. But
Oh,
that's what happened to a lot of small countries. They are rich in culture, but financially they are not. But the thing
yeah.
is, if business starts seeing it like as an opportunity, because it is an opportunity, because
Absolutely.
those people also have news outlet. They also create content. They're
Yes.
also as big in TikTok, as big in YouTube, as big in Instagram. It's just taking them longer to create their part because they don't have that technology. But if they have it, I guarantee you they'll be using it. I guarantee you they'll be buying it. They'll be investing on it because that will make their life easier. And then
Yeah.
my quest is to see, okay, how can we make their life easier? Just like for me, if I have a video in English and it make my life 10 times easier to just drop it somewhere and create what I need to create and then move on. So
Oh, yeah.
that's just what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. Let me give a shout out real quick, Johnny. Hello, Paul. How are you today, my friend? I didn't advertise very well. I didn't advertise very well to Paul that I was going to be on
Okay.
here, uh, but no, good to see our friend Paul Duncan as well, man. And I love what you said about, and I love what you
Paul.
say about enriched culture. Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, some of the happiest people in the world have the least financially. I've noticed I mean,
Yeah,
based upon, because there's a lot of farming and vegetation in that region, if I'm
mhm,
not mistaken, correct?
of course. It is. It could be better, but
Right.
when they mainly focus on import now
Yeah.
because they can export like they're supposed to. Okay,
Mhm.
that's an issue on its own, but they focus on import. But it could be better, and I think it will be better in the future. But right now, when we're talking about technology and we're moving on and this big aspect, my concern right now is like they're gonna be worse if we don't do something about it right now. While we at the ground trying to set up everything to go the way it need to be, if
Right.
we forget about them, it's gonna be worse.
S-
So because of that, what some people don't understand, because of that, they're gonna become a burden instead of a benefits to you. So
Yeah.
to avoid all of that, let's provide the same level of technology as well. And I don't think they did it in purpose or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
I just think it's an overlook, right? Nobody really thought about it. Nobody really saw it. And everybody that I reached out to and said, you know what? Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take a look, maybe on the next upgrade or whatever.
Uh,
Okay. So I think some software now starting to put an effort into it, which I'm
mhm.
I'm glad it happens, but I'm hoping more software do so.
That yeah, and that's why guys like you exist. That think about the smaller minority of personalities or uh, nations out there and languages, because you're right. It's nothing personal most of the time. It's usually an oversight or an overlooking. You're right. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, yeah, a lot of people might take it personal, but it's not. It's just an oversight. It's just like it's not something that they are thinking about at the moment.
Hmm.
Because when you somebody who's getting a product out, like for me, for example, when you have a business, you understand how business works. You have so much stuff going on.
Hmm.
Sometimes you overlook some things, not because you want to, you just overlooked it. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm glad that everybody that I reach out to and on that field, they're more willing and say, oh yeah, we did not think about it this way. You know what? Maybe on our next upgrade, let's go ahead and put a support ticket, or go ahead and send us a what do you call that? There's something they call it, like how Ecamm do, and you put the students and stuff like that. So they'll say, go ahead and send us an email about it. So
Hmm.
which I've been doing, but when you're one man show and you're the only one asking for it, it takes time. So that's why in my own community, I'm like, guys, you have to ask for those things, and then that's when I start to realize, well, there's another side of it. Some of them, well, I must say the majority of them don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
So I'm asking them to ask.
Uh, it, if
So
tech if
yeah,
technology is so surpassing a lot of these countries and language barriers, it
can
might
you hear
even
me, Hank? I think you're cutting up a little bit.
am I? Oh man, ain't no telling.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah. I will see if you're good now.
yeah. And I don't know what it is about this Ethernet. I really don't, folks in the Ecamm community. This is nothing to be embarrassed about, you know. But yeah, no, they have. Yeah, no, is it better now?
Yeah, it's good. I can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this Ethernet. It's something. I've got the sucker plugged in, but it just doesn't. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm going to troubleshoot it and call Apple support and stuff like that later too, and see what's going
It's
on with
it's
it.
happened. Don't worry about it. It's happened.
I know it. Man. Here we are. Here we are
Lives
having
happen.
we're trying to have a nice conversation. I'm trying to learn about what you do, and then all of a sudden, technology. My first world problems, for the record. We were just talking about how a lot of smaller countries, but this is my first world problem right here. My Ethernet. So I have an attitude of gratitude for
If
what I
you,
have. Just want everybody out there to know.
yeah,
I'm t-
listen, don't feel bad because I can tell you, there's if I have some friends who's making videos for me, and I reach to like when they're in Haiti, the internet is way slower, way slower.
oh,
Okay, so trying to have an interview from there, it's a nightmare. So
I
yeah, so trust me, what
I
we got over here is great.
I won't say it. I won't say the name on there, but I had great before my place burnt down 15 months ago. I had great Ethernet connection, and I am having to supply with another one, and I won't say it out loud because I don't know who I'd piss off or who would sue. But and look, Paul's right. Live happens. That's right. That's the
Life happens. That's right.
that's right. Worry about my first world problems, but you know, that's like saying that that's like saying I had a feast and there wasn't enough
It
salt.
happens. Trust me.
There wasn't enough salt on the meat. I'm like, that sounds like a first world problem right there. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I go live all the time, and I have issues all the time. It's not an issue at all because the conversation is so good. Don't even worry
That's right.
about it. Catch up.
Oh, I'm telling you. But so yeah, Johnny, are you going to Ecamm Creator Camp this year?
Definitely. I already got my ticket. I already make my room reservation. Man, I'm gonna be there.
I know it, man. I'm gonna tell you.
I can't miss it.
No, I'm not gonna miss it this year. I'll definitely do it as long as I can. See, the only thing about next year is that next year I need to get the new Ecamm studio, and that's going to cost about as much as Creator Camp. So, can I afford it?
Oh, you're talking about the Apple Studio.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant to say. The Apple Studio. I'm gonna get one, and that's going to cost as much as Creator Camp. So, I don't know unless I can figure out a way to like just eat peanut butter and crackers for the next year. I'll probably have to really budget around that computer. So.
Oh man, you do a lot of stuff in the community. Just put it out to your viewers. Let them know what your goals are. Put it on your channel what your goals are. You're trying to reach that goal and see how it goes.
I know it.
That's what I did for my Creole channel. I used to be like, no, I don't want to do this. I can get this. But now I offer it to the community, and because I've been serving the community for a while, so I have a little membership set up on my YouTube channel, and then we have a few members who follow the channel, and then we make things happen for the channel. So because those type of things, they are necessary when you're creating content, because in order to deliver the product in a manner that everybody can understand and in a manner everybody can enjoy, you have to go get the knowledge.
Yes.
And you need the tools as well. So
no, I get it. And you know what, Louise just made a good point. You could save money looking into Apple refurbished into the Apple refurbished section. Yeah, but I wonder how much you know what, he's got a point though, but I wonder how much it is with the how many they have with the new Mac Studio, the one that just came out, if I'm not mistaken. He would know better than Luis would know way better than I would, but I'll look into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Louis student. I don't have the studio yet. I still have my M1 Mac because I think those still do an outstanding job. They still create a lot of stuff. I mean, I would love to have a studio, but not yet.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm satisfied with the Mac Mini, but there are as things get larger and things progress, you don't want to have to kind of catch up to it quickly. You kind of want to be prepared already. If that makes sense. That's how I'm more of a proactive type guy sometimes. Like I do the best I can not to procrastinate. And part of that is preparing for the worst so that you have the best outcome.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But yeah, have you looked at I think Ecamm have a section. They have a section too where community members can sell and trade stuff.
Yeah, I thought about looking into it, but I'm not in
I got a couple mics from them.
I don't want to. I'm not in like a dire emergency, but I'm not in a dire emergency. But it's just like you prepare for these things.
Exactly.
Let me give a shout out here real quick. Bad Sorrento, brother Hank. I'm not sure who this is. Bad Superman T. Bad. I do. I think I do know, but I can't. I can't remember. But thank you, brother. Whoever. I'm having a complete brain fart. But and Paul's also commenting. Hold on one sec. Paul just said a bluebird might be flying around next month. I'm not sure what that means in riddles, but I'm sure he'll explain it to me later. But no, it's good stuff.
The blue sale is coming.
Yeah,
Maybe a big sale is coming.
yeah. I think that's what he means. I think that's what he means. I love riddles, but I can never solve them.
Yeah,
That's
I do too, but I'm terrible at it. I don't do trivia well.
I'm with you. I mean, the longer they are on the market, the more they show up, and the refurb side. Once you are ready to order, is when you start looking for the deals. Yeah, see, there you go. I mean, Louise is absolutely. I mean, like I said, Louise, I knew Louise would know about this. I mean, come on, that's Mr. Camera Junkie crying out loud. He
That's
knows
their
it.
world, man. You got heavy hitter on your live right now, man. Those guys know the stuff. Trust me.
Of course.
You know,
Oh,
I'm a student of all of them. I mean, I stalk them online as much as I can because they always have those like those nuggets that we need. You know, I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to get as much as I can from them, man.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I just got identified who that was commenting. If you're into professional wrestling, man, this is a great podcast, man. These guys are excellent. I grew up with these two gentlemen that are working doing this. So thank you, fellas. I appreciate the shout out and thank you for supporting my show here. But so Johnny, what is it that you do for a living exactly during the day?
Mhm. Oh my God, I do so many stuff, man. Let me. Okay, where do I start? Okay, first of all, I'm like, okay, I'm retired. I'm gonna stay home. Then I was like, you know what? I'm bored. So I opened two businesses. Okay, one is for my wife. My wife got a business consultant, and then I have what we call a BELIANTE Media, which is a media company where I create content for the Haitian community. So the type of content I create is like educational content, maybe about politics, how to vote, and how to register to vote. We discuss social stuff, how to apply for social services. We discuss healthcare, how to get healthcare, difference between insurance, life insurance, medical insurance. We talk about financial issue. How do you receive credit in United States? What credit mean in United States? Where can you check your credit? How to protect your social security? Basically, I create those content that is needed on a daily basis here, that somebody like an immigrant from another country, an immigrant from Haiti, because I focus mainly in Creole,
Mm-hmm.
come here, they need those information. So I provide those information for them because those information are not readily available in Creole. So I create those content. But I'm also what they call a radiologic technologist. So I do CAT scans and I do X-rays in a clinic as well, where I'm in charge of two clinics to take care of the daily operation of those two clinics. So that's what I do. I stay
Oh,
busy.
it sounds like it. I thought I was busy, but then again, you're a lot more classically trained for type of busy because of your military background. What branch were you in?
Navy. I was in the Navy.
What was your rank when you retired?
I retired as a chief petty officer.
Okay, I have to look that up. I don't know
Oh,
Navy rank.
that's E7.
E7. Okay, okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I know the ranks. I don't always memorize them in the Navy or the Coast Guard.
No, that's
Na-
that's
Navy and
fine.
Coast
That's fine.
Guard ranks are the hardest ones to remember, in my opinion. You know,
They're not that bad.
no, no, it's just I don't know. Like I have an army uncle and I had a two Marine relatives, so it's always been Army or Marines with my family.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Marines because I'm a hospital corpsman. I was a hospital corpsman, so we do go with the Marines a lot. So I love my Marines.
I appreciate what you did for our country, man. Thank you for your service, man. I mean, like
I know.
we don't give enough. We don't give enough big ups to the military, because that's a lot of time that is sacrificed. And I know that some of you guys don't see it that way, but from an outside perspective looking in, man, that's a lot of sacrifice. So thank you for your service.
It's not, man. Somebody got to do it. We did what we had to do, and we are
Yeah,
appreciative. We we enjoyed it very much. I mean, me personally, I enjoyed it. If I had to do it again, I'd do it again. Matter of fact, and I appreciate what you said, and thank you so much.
of course. What year did you get out?
I got out in 2018.
After 20
Yep.
years.
After 20 years, I did 20 years and 6 months. I got
Let's
out
go.
in 2018. Uh, and then when I got out, I stayed home for about 2 years, and then I opened my first business. It was a cleaning business. I was so motivated, and then COVID hit. Boom. So when COVID hit, so I revert to what I know because I used to do X-rays and CAT scan. So I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, well, let me start working and stuff like that. And
yeah.
at that time, actually, I start working before COVID hit. I start working, I think in the summer of 2019, because I say I couldn't stay in the house anymore, so I need to do something. So when we opened the business in 2020 in January, I was like, okay, I'm about to leave work because I need to focus on my business. And then COVID hit, and then we were getting hit with so much
Yeah.
stuff at the same time, And I'm grateful because my wife wasn't working at that time, because it would be difficult because my wife is a nurse by trade. So if she would have been at work and I'm at work, it would have been tough for our kids. So I was working during the whole time in COVID and trying to figure out things and stuff. But I got to tell you, man, the military background come handy. It come very, very handy to understand and stay calm and do what we had to do. So now it's technically over. So, but I'm still in the medical field and still providing my service because I love doing what I'm doing. I love helping people.
Oh yeah, no, and that's the beautiful part, man. Like, I'll say it a million times on every episode, man. If you love what you're doing, the money will come, and if the money doesn't come, you
Of
won't have
course.
to, because you love it so much. You won't have to compensate, fun. You won't have to compensate your fun by doing things that cost way more, because you're good with what you do and it doesn't stress you out at night. That's a big one. Um,
Exactly.
got to
Yeah,
give a shout.
exactly. It's the same thing when I create content. Like I put so much in from. Go ahead.
No, I was just no. You first. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Send the shout out because
Yeah, yeah. No,
if they show up, let's show them some love.
yeah, absolutely. Well, we know this lady very well. Hello, Val, and she says hello to Johnny.
Val. Hi, Val.
Absolutely, Val, camera. Yeah, and there's my boy Luis again. But just give a shout out to Val. But whoa, wait a second. Give me 1 sec here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. Give me a sec.
You lost your feed. You
I
lost your
I
camera, but I hear
I,
you.
I lost my face. That's okay. That's okay. Give me 1 sec. I was I lost my face. Let me see here. Why did I do? Live happens.
Lives happens.
Yes. Um, trying to figure out how to add myself. I added you with ease, but I got to figure out how to add
Yeah,
myself.
under your overlays where your camera at, undo that little eye. Probably will bring you back.
That's right. You're so right. I don't think I hit the I. I think I hit the because my
Did you
scene was
exit out completely?
yeah. I think I exited. Yeah, I think I exited out completely. see Paul's Paul's doing
Yeah,
this. Paul Slim.
but yeah, under your overlays, if you click on the camera portion, you bring your camera back.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, you're right. She's right. He's right. There we go. Give me a sec here. I just did this. Yep, there we go.
Mhm.
Well, I thought I did. Oh, I got to unlock it. Give me a sec. There we go.
Here we go. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Welcome back. Yeah, exactly.
Don't. Did you like your camera?
No, I didn't lock it. I don't lock the camera. I don't lock the guest camera, but I usually lock my camera. But to avoid confusion, I keep them both unlocked because there's a lot to, I don't know how to explain it. That it's
Anna and Fulgent gonna get you.
Yeah, unfulgence are definitely gonna get. Don't tell unfulgence. Don't snitch on me, Johnny. I can't do it.
I want, but they're gonna watch this. They're gonna say, "What? You did not like your camera?"
I can't take disappointing. I can't take disappointing Anna. Before I started my show, like about a month or two before my show, she's like, Hank, you've been practicing at this for a year. You need to start your show. And stuff like that. And I am not a perfectionist. I am a prepare for the worst so the best will come out type. And, that way you don't panic.
Yeah, no, man.
Yeah.
But you're good at it, Hank. You're good at it. Like you got the voice for it.
Yes.
You're a radio personality too, man. Listen, you are.
Not to be one. And all I've ever done is broadcasting. I've had a job during the day. Like I have a job during the day because I need health insurance. But I've been doing broadcasting on and off for, pretty much since I was a teenager. And I don't know how old you are, Johnny. I don't know how old you are, but like,
wow.
I just turned 40. So,
oh, man, you don't see the gray. You don't see the gray.
I got gray too. I got more gray than you, and I'm probably younger than you
are.
I
got you beat, brother. I'm 47.
47. Yeah. So, see, that's what I'm saying.
47, man.
Yeah. I got more than you.
As an old man.
Well, see, I dyed my beard. I dyed my beard so that it leaves a couple in there so that it makes me look distinguished. But now it's like I haven't dyed my beard in months. So I'm good.
I refuse to do that. I'm living mine like this. Whatever happened. Hopefully I'll be looking like Paul pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? Paul got the perfect gray.
Yeah, Paul aged well. I don't know how I forget how old Paul is, but he aged well. See, no halo for you, Paul. The devil ears. The devil ears for you. And, thanks, pal. But no, let me see here. Yeah, because what were we talking about? I forgot. I lost my train of thought because I was laughing at Paul and Valerie. I'll tell you, yeah, but Anna and Fulgence, you can't really. It's hard disappointing Anna. She doesn't get disappointed that often, but she's just like, you need to do this and practice at this, And I'm like, okay.
I mean, you have to. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, if you see, I did my first video for my podcast not too long ago, and I put it about perfection. I'm like that, man. I want things to be a certain way. I need it to be perfect, but not anymore. Not anymore, because what happened is, in trying to get things so perfectly aligned,
yes,
and what I'm doing, I was losing time, right? Mm-hmm. I was losing daylight trying to get things perfect. So then move on to the direction I wanted to go, because I'm trying to the world. It doesn't work that way, right? You learn as you go, you practice as you go, and one day I was sitting down. I said, well, even in the military, even though we're trying to do perfection, but when you think about it, you can have a great plan, but when the battle starts, all your plan go to trash. Okay, things doesn't go like you think it's going to go.
Right.
So you have to basically adapt and overcome. So I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I just started doing my thing. I start adapting, overcoming. I start creating, because I was okay. What was the purpose of me doing this? It was for me to put information to the Haitian community, talk to different people, let those people know what we're about, and I start doing it, and I start putting those content out,
That's
and people start appreciating those contents, and they start discovering it little by little. So I keep pushing it out and pushing it out, and now it's almost like, for me, it's like, okay, whatever, it is what it is, and let's move on. And the people who want the information, the people who care about the channel, the people who care about your content, they're gonna be there regardless. They're gonna stick with you. They're gonna rock with you. They're gonna
right.
move you forward. They're gonna, and those are the people you want. You
Right.
don't want the other people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, and you're and going back to what you do, that's a lot of value that you're creating. I that's half the reason why I brought you on here is because you told me over the phone, but I wasn't 100% sure if I was getting the
Sure.
translation right. No, I didn't understand that. That's what I love about guys like you. You create value in other people out there. There's, you know, I mean, what 12 million people, 8 billion people on the planet. That's not even a percent of this world,
I'm trying.
and you're looking at it, and you're looking out for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying. I mean, I'm trying. I'm sure there's other creators out there doing the same thing, but usually when you're doing those type of work, it's not as popular as if I was doing entertainment. And I can do really good entertainment show, but I choose not to focus on that aspect yet. I'm sure there's other creators who's doing the same thing, trying to link up with them and see
Yeah.
what will work for them. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's take Ecamm for example.
Okay.
I when I discovered Ecamm, and I'm like, what are the great tools? And then I realized, okay, why those guys still using this type of technology? I'm seeing people struggling who have TVs. Well, they're not big TV station, but they have a studio that they converted to a TV station, and they're
Hmm.
struggling with the different stuff. So I start talking to them about Ecamm. So I'm like, you know what? So let me create some Ecamm in Creole, and I start creating some Ecamm content in Creole, and they start get into it. Some people actually come me and say, "Hey, how do you get your graphics like this? How do you move things around so easily?" Because they're either using another software, or like a free software like OBS or something like that. So they start discovering it. Then when they discover it, and oh my God, Johnny, this is good, but everything is in English. So I'm like, you know what? Now, now I got another project in my hand. So
Right.
I think I created 3 or 4 just basic information, how to set up your scene, how to set up your overlay, how you set up all of the stuff, and I put it out there. And then I started seeing more of those guys is using Ecamm. Even though they don't let me know, or they don't use my code, even though I don't give my code out as often as I should, but I start seeing them using it and and I can recognize it now when I see a show go, like when I watch the show and I see the show went from A to Z, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what they're using, and the reason for it is because it wasn't there before. I was probably one of the few people who put that information in Creole, and I try to do this for all of the software and all of the stuff that I use. I try and
Hmm.
put it in Creole because, again, they are creating content. They are creating a great amount of content. Okay, and the problem is some of those stuff that I know about, or other creators with my background know about, we don't put that information out to them. And if we put it in English, assuming, oh, if I understand it, they're gonna understand it too. Not really, because a lot of them don't speak English. They either speak French or Creole. So that's why I start putting those information in Creole.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Val's giving you your props for that. You came in real brilliant, John. You're truly getting.
Oh, thank you, Val.
Yeah, she's right. I mean, that's you know, and it's funny thing about like what you'd mentioned at the beginning, but there at the beginning of when you were speaking just now. One of the things that I've noticed about people is that they will be successful for taking care of a minority problem. You know, there's a I mean, if sometimes in a saturated field, it's hard to be
Mhm.
able to make a career out of it. But you know, I feel like that with for your situation,
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. So, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you not get tired, but you're like discouraged a little bit, because you're like, okay, especially when you spend time to create a video and you put it out there and you don't see no interest, you don't see like that. Then I used to be like, oh man, that's such a disappointment. And really, this is will help them. Why they not seeing it? Why they not taking advantage? And then I realized, okay, maybe it's me not putting in a way for them to appreciate it. So I
It
start changing the way I do things, and I start putting it out in different way, cut different pieces, added different type of way. And then I realized they might not watching it at this very moment, but I got people hitting me out like 2 years after. They say, "Hey, I saw your video about this. Uh, what you know about the software? I bought it, but I'm having this difficulty. Can you help me
mhm,
out?" And I'm like, "What video are you talking about?" It was video I done like a year and a half
yeah,
ago, 2 years ago. So, yeah. So it's providing value. Sometimes when you providing values, sometimes it takes time for people to recognize that. Sometimes it takes time for yourself to recognize that, and
right,
I'm trying not to let that keep me down, on not to let that affect me or anything like that, because I'm like, you know what? I already know the information already. I'm putting the information out to provide value to my community.
yes,
Those who need it are gonna stumble to it. It's gonna help them. They're gonna progress, and that for me, my friend, is the biggest satisfaction. Biggest satisfaction. Now, would love to get paid for it and get that? Of course, who would not? But at this very moment, I'm just saying thank you to God. I'm blessed. I'm retired. I got another
yeah.
job. So it's not like what I'm saying, it's not like God haven't blessed me enough already for me not to provide all of the stuff that I provide. So
And I get it. I mean, this is why I love documenting stuff like this. This is, and you were talking about like putting it out there and somebody coming up to you 2 years later, 2 years from now. That's why we do this, is to document things.
mhm.
There's no, there is no time limit with it.
Yeah.
I may have a few more gray hairs on me whenever they see me the next time, as opposed to when the video was the previous time, but it's documented. So,
Mhm.
but Paul's Paul's like
Yeah.
create it
And you know the
and
funny
they will
thing,
come.
Hank, is the video. That's it. Created and they will come. Perfect. Paul, that should be a t-shirt.
That should be a t-shirt.
Created and they will come.
That's right. Damn straight.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So the funny thing, Hank, I was about to tell you, sometimes we don't realize that the simple videos is what the people are after. Like, I can take time, sit down, set up all kind of beautiful graphics, you know, set up a show, doing the greatest interview, and like, this is it. This is the interview of a lifetime,
Right.
and
Like
nothing.
right. And I could be
And
doing this
then I'm gonna give,
and I could be doing this every 10 minutes.
you
Right.
know, right?
Where's
Yeah,
See, I could be doing that.
Every 10, but I'm not going to. Anyway.
yeah, yeah. So, and then it's not what I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay, go ahead.
Orlando have a train like called Brightline train, who's connect directly from Orlando to Miami, right? That train, basically, you can take it from here and take you straight to Miami. Now, it's not as fast as they said it will be. Still take you almost 3 hours to make it there.
Mhm.
But the thing is, you sit down in a comfortable area, you can get food, you can get drinks, you're not driving,
Mhm.
and he take you to your destination. He have a couple stop in West Palm Beach and stuff like that, but those stops are just like 5 minutes interval, right? 5 minutes wait. It was perfect. So when they starting to open, when the grand opening, I'm like, I tell my wife, let's go check it out. Let's go to Miami for the day and see how it works. And I did, and I take a couple videos, a couple shots, and then I did a little thing about it, and then I put it in Queer, because they had they had hundreds of creators out there. Like, I'm talking about a whole bunch of creators, like those guys who's the main channel, the main niche, their niche is train, for example, talking about it. And here I am doing, I'm like, baby, let's do this. So I start making some videos on it. I make some videos and I come here, put it in Ecamm and just put it out there. I was surprised, 100,000, over 100,000 people view that video. And I mean, I can count how much comment I received saying, "Thank you so much. We didn't even know that existed. We don't know they create something like this. Now when I'm going to Miami, it will be easier because I couldn't drive anyway. I don't have a license. I don't have this." I was surprised. And here it is. It was not big planification behind it. It was no big graphics behind it. It was just me, my phone, and my little goal. Okay, and then I say, hey guys, I think you should know that Orlando got a connection now via train straight from Orlando to Miami, and I know a lot of you go to Miami a lot. Okay, and this is
Yeah.
the way to do it. And I was surprised, man.
Yeah, exactly. No, I never thought about that. And oh gosh, how far of a drive is that from Miami to Orlando? That's about
Yeah,
like
it's
4 hours.
the simple things, man.
Yeah, it's about like what, a 4 hour drive, 3 hour drive, maybe.
4 hours. It depends where you're going to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never been to
it's
Miami.
about 4 hours. Depends where you're going. Mhm.
Yeah, I've never been to.
Because the reason I love to Miami.
Yeah, never
Yeah,
been.
I did that video. I did that video because the Miami airport, if you're coming from Haiti, the Miami airport, the flight from Haiti to Miami is cheaper than the flight from Haiti to Orlando.
Hmm.
Because if you're coming from Haiti to Orlando, most likely you're going to have a layover in Miami. Okay.
Yeah,
And it might be a long layover. Okay. To come to Orlando. Spirit used to have a flight, I think direct flight, but I don't think they have
yeah,
it anymore. So I might be wrong. But because it's cheaper, the majority of the people, what they'll do, they fly to Miami and then leave the airport in Miami, get in the Greyhound bus, or call somebody, or pay somebody to drive them to Orlando because it was cheaper. Now with this connection, they can technically leave the airport and boom, get in the train, and from the train straight down to Orlando.
yeah,
So it's a big. Some people might think it's a small thing, but it's a big benefit for this community. It is
yeah.
a big benefits for them. So even me, I didn't think it would have been a big deal, but it was a big benefits for this community. So
Oh
I
yeah,
say all of this. So like sometimes the simple things we're trying to make those content where like big things, but sometimes the simple things that people are looking for, and then you stumble onto it, and then you realize, oh wow, I didn't even know they needed that.
Less is more, and keep it simple.
That's
Those are
it.
that's it. I
That's
mean,
it.
I'm telling you, man. Like, and it's funny. I was trying not to laugh in my head too much. I was trying not to laugh in my head too much, but when I went to Boston last year, I was looking at
Mhm.
I make fun of Miami all the time. There's three sayings about certain cities, or one city for each certain saying. When you're from LA, or you go to LA to be somebody, you go to New York when you are somebody, and you go to Miami when you want to be somebody else. Have you ever heard that expression?
uh, no, I never heard of that, but your Miami people are gonna get on you.
You know what? Come at me, come at me. I'm gonna say this because when we went to Ecamm last year, I had to do a layover in Atlanta, right? And
Mhm.
there was the one that was coming in. I was coming from my city, and then there was one coming from Miami, and it was all these women
Mhm.
in wheelchairs under the age of like 40 coming out the airport, and I didn't understand why these young women are all walking around in wheelchairs and stuff like that. And I just told this, I just asked this one lady who was with her friend, I was like, why is all these women in wheelchairs? Well, they all got BBLs done in Miami. That's the number one, plastic surgeon capital in the country
It's the
right now.
beautiful
And I was
capital of the
like,
world, man.
man, I
Beautiful
was like,
capital of the world.
so
Mr. Mr. Camera Junkie is from Miami, I think.
yeah. If Louise is still watching, is that what it's like down there? Everybody's like, 80% of the people down there are flying down there just to get plastic surgery. I mean, you know,
Not probably not the local people. They're probably coming from somewhere else out of the country, and at one time it used to be LA, now it's Miami. So, but it's
yeah.
it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful city.
Oh,
It's a busy city. Um, it's an expensive city, but it's a beautiful city.
yeah. No, I've been to Orlando where you're at, but I've never been to Miami. And from what I hear about, like I said, Miami is a beautiful city. I just wouldn't want to live there from what they describe it as.
Yeah, it's busy. It's busy. I don't know if I live in Miami, but it's busy.
Yeah.
I'll go visit.
Now I've been to New York City before, and New York City was very much a city I would live in. So uh,
Oh man, I don't know. I've been to New York. I thought about it. I said, could I live here? Probably not, because I'm a what you call a country boy. I like space. I like space. I like
I'm
I
Yes.
like a backyard or something like that.
Oh,
And I don't know, maybe outside of New York City.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I just believe me, and I'm from Tennessee. I'm from the I'm right
Mhm,
in Memphis, which is only 3 hours away from Nashville, and believe me, it's
mhm.
all like a city could be as big as could be somewhat of a backyard in the city part, not just in the suburban country parts. So I get it.
Mhm.
I prefer it too. I could live in New York because of the culture. There's a lot of things to do. By the By the way, hold on one sec. Let me get these comments out the way. Yeah, Atlanta has the best airport food. Sorry, I digress. You know what? I've heard that though. When I flew through, I didn't get to eat at the restaurant, but I heard the restaurants were really good. And Louise is like, surgeries are done out of the country, and Colombia
Oh,
is
Miami is the hub.
okay. Yeah. Well, and you're talking about an ignorant perspective I just gave. I didn't know, and
Yeah,
I had
Miami might be the hub because a lot of planes coming out Colombia, Panama, Dominican Republic, Venezuela,
yeah.
um, a lot of those places probably come to Miami.
I just
It's probably cheaper to fly into Miami, or Miami might be the layover spot.
and that makes sense. I just don't know. I don't know the like if I
I
go out
told
of
you
the
it was Camera Junkie City.
yeah. Well, I mean, if I ever have surgery for anything outside the country, it'll be the stem cells. I've heard success stories with certain stem cells and stuff like that. One minute the guy's got a bum knee, and the next thing you know, he's running marathons.
But don't leave the country just for surgery, man. You have to leave the country. Like I've been so many places around the world. It's just listen, you have to leave the country. It's just in order to appreciate what you have here or to
Yes,
compare what you have here with other country, you have to you have to go to other places and see how it is.
I
You know, I've been lucky enough to be into places where it's great. I've been lucky enough to go to places where it's bad, so I can make the difference, and then so I can appreciate what I have and understand how the world really works. And that's why I always tell everybody, man, you have to leave the country. You
I
have to.
I've been to Venezuela, and I've been to Venezuela. I went in 2001, and
Mhm.
not necessarily a overly culture shock, just a different way of living, so to speak. And I couldn't believe how happy a lot of people were down there, and I at the time, and that's a communist country if I'm not mistaken, and it, and I was just like, or there's some sort of like limit, like some sort of limited income or whatever they do, but I saw a lot of happy people down there, and then less than 20 years later they say the country was completely bankrupt, so I don't know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I've learned what we have here is we live in look, we have our problems just like anybody else, but man, we've got it pretty good here. We've got it pretty
No,
good
the
here.
US have it pretty good, but there's other country too have it pretty good. We just don't know about it or don't
I
hear
know
about
it.
it. It's not on the news.
Oh,
I
of
mean, I'm
course.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you an example. I live in Japan for 2.5 years,
Oh, wow.
and listen, they have it good, and
Yes.
that's one country. If I have a chance to go back for another 2 3 years, I will definitely go back for another 2 3 years. It's just the living is different. Okay, it's
Yeah.
just different. People are more relaxed. People are more peaceful. It's just like
Yes.
the atmosphere, the safety aspect is pretty safe, and
Yeah.
it's just something else. And I
Well,
loved it. I
I
loved it down there.
and I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and I would love to visit Japan for the record. I have a great amount of respect for the Japanese culture and the country. And I found out that the population has declined by 25% in less than 10 years because of they're not as, excuse my language, they're not as
No,
sexually
they're not
driven.
a young country.
The what? It's a
They're
what?
not a young country.
Well,
The population is older.
Right. Well, from what I hear too, it's because they're not as sexually driven as as like are the United States. I mean, you know, I was when I was this close to going to Haiti. I was this close to going
Hmm.
to Haiti back to do some mission work, but I was too young at the time. I was 16,
Oh.
and they were and it's amazing how any other country, like I have been to Venezuela, and I have been to Mexico and Jamaica because of cruises and stuff like that. But they talk about how sex crazed our country is, man, and that all of like the gentleman the gentlemen's clubs down there are owned by
Mhm.
Americans, and you know, I'll just I think that's one of the reasons like Japanese culture is more up here, you know, they're more
Mhm.
thinkers than like desire, so to speak, and so that's not a huge deal for them.
Yeah.
So the population kind of declines a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that aspect, but I do know they are a little bit older country, and they're not like a young. The population is not as young as other country. But one thing I know for sure, this is a beautiful country, man. This is a man. I loved it there. I did 2.5 years there. I loved it.
Yeah, I would love. No, I really, I do. It's on my bucket list. Japan is on my bucket list to go to. My stepbrother's been there, so he told me he's a Marine, so he's been there.
Yeah, yeah. So he definitely been there. Yeah. He's probably been in Okinawa because they usually have the Marines in Okinawa, which is like a little island of Japan.
Yeah, that was
It's pretty good. But I was in Yokosuka,
okay.
so I was in mainland Japan.
Well, Okinawa, if I'm not mistaken, was dominated when we had invaded it during the World War II, if I'm not mistaken. So
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
either that or
yeah.
Guadalcanal, one of the two. So
No, no, Okinawa.
yeah, that
But
was.
it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, man.
Oh
Very
yeah,
beautiful place.
I
I
like.
think that's who's from the Ecamm fam was Doc Rock. I think that's where I
Yeah,
spent a lot of time there too.
yeah. Well, Doc was in the military, so that makes sense. What branch he was in, but
Yeah, he was
yeah,
Army. He was in the
absolutely.
Army.
Oh, was he? Okay. And Luis has stepped in here. Yeah, Japan's a bucket list destination for me too. Yeah, me too, Luis. I
Yeah,
agreed.
Hank?
Yes. Similar things is happening in Italy. Population on the decline.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we're just way more we're way
Yep.
more emotionally and sexually driven than other countries. So, like you go from 200 million people in the 80s to 320 million in this country. There you go. So,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of aspect too. Remember, United States is a country that a lot of people immigrate to. That's the other thing. So what
that's true.
happened when they come here young, they increase the population. After a little while, they can become U.S. citizen. So that's why you see the increase. It might not be necessarily the other aspect, but there's a lot of people who
Right.
move to the U.S. on an annual basis. you know,
Oh
so
yeah.
and all those people, yeah, they count. They count compared to other country.
Oh, absolutely. It's just it's something that I take a little bit personally. It's something I do take a little personally as far as like, you know, the fact that like I always like I love how people kind of the routines of other countries and stuff like that. Like in Japan, they, if I'm not mistaken, they meditate. I think they meditate as a country almost every morning. Do they not? Or am I thinking of
Oh,
China?
I don't think. No, I don't think it's not it's not mandatory. I mean, of course, they practice meditation, but it's not like I never see that as a
There,
whole country they take time to meditate. No.
right. I know that like in obviously when I was in Venezuela, the siestas, there was a 2 hour rest period for the whole country to either rest or nap or to be able to collect their thoughts, and that was a big thing down in
Mm.
Venezuela. Like I would try to go. I mean, I was there for 7 days, and if I tried to go get a bottle of water or something to drink, they said no, we're closed, man.
Yeah, I don't know that. I haven't been to Venezuela. I have friends and family who've been there, but I never traveled to Venezuela.
No,
So,
absolutely.
but it might be. I'm not sure. I heard
Absolutely.
it's like that in Spain. In Spain, that they
Yeah.
do take breaks in the afternoon and some relaxation breaks, and then come back after. But
Yeah.
I've been to Spain, but I did not stay in Spain. I was always only there for about 48 hours, and I didn't even leave the base. So I
Oh,
can't really comment on that. But
yeah. I've
yeah,
heard good- I've heard good things about Spain too. So a lot of people are moving to Spain. A lot of people with money moving to Spain. So, but that'll work. Johnny, you want to wrap this up, man?
into Singapore, and I'm telling you,
Mhm.
it's nothing like Singapore.
Oh no.
Nothing like Singapore.
Oh, that sounds great. I'll have to. I might have to be a bucket list on it, but yeah. Hey, Johnny, I think I'm gonna wrap this up, man. What do you think?
No problem.
Thank you again for coming on. It's been a pleasure, and I'm gonna greet the crowd, and I'm gonna tip my hat off to the crowd, and I will and I'll also talk to you as soon as we get off the line. Any so I appreciate you, Johnny. Man, let me get it. Oh, well, I appreciate Johnny coming on, man. Good guy. I had to rush to put him on here, so it was we've as you can see we have a lot of the same people that we know and some of the same interests and stuff like that, and it really helps to have a guy like him on here. And we've when you have if you're doing this live stream stuff, you're going to have definitely have technical difficulties sometimes, and that's just part of the world. And we got through it together, and we understand. And those of you who get discouraged about that, don't worry about it. It's just how it is at this point in time. We have to work on things. But my name is Hank Russell. Thank you for watching the Hank Russell Invitation. Have a good day.